Because maybe those that don't grieve don't get closure.
Yeah, it's acknowledging it, isn't it? Because you can have, like, when you've dug yourself out of the hole of, like, a breakup, when I use that because that's something I've been through, you can pick up enough forward momentum to where it would be easy to not look back and to not grieve, but acknowledging the importance of looking back and acknowledging how far you've come not only is going to springboard you further into self-improvement and development, but it's also going to allow you to say goodbye to, I just don't need that negative person anymore. I don't need to ever go back there. And if you can genuinely feel like you never need to revisit that, then that's so freeing.
Yeah, submitting the war's over, isn't it? Which is probably quite hard for the nervous system. Because if your nervous system has been in a heightened sense of fight or flight for a prolonged period of time, trying to release that, your body's probably like, what is going on? You know, what are you doing to me? I suppose grieving is the part. Grieving is the role that helps you navigate that. So it's the pivot from how do we move from hating the old version of ourselves to thanking them and letting go. I suppose that's the grieving. I suppose gratitude. I know we're always going to come back to gratitude.
Gratitude is the answer.
Yeah, like I suppose in this regard, you identify the trait that kept you safe or the trait that you hate, quote unquote, and ask, when did this trait save my life? So my defensiveness saved me from when I was being bullied. You know, like the ones I gave you earlier. So people pleasing kept me safe in a chaotic environment. Is having the gratitude to acknowledge them, you know, because then you're going to be looking with slightly softer eyes. You're not going to be looking with the judgment of, well, that was bad. I shouldn't have done that. Because then again, it's just adding more guilt on top of the already negative emotion, which we spoke about earlier. Yeah, how do you integrate it? How do you action it? Maybe you've got to stop viewing those things as broken.
I think it's just being able to zoom out, acknowledging that just knowing how you behave in certain situations. Is once again, the perspective thing is always going to help. If you know that you tend to people please, identifying the root cause of that is going to be key, because even if then you continue to people please, you're going to know why you're doing it. You're like, oh, okay, this is interesting. I tend to people please when I don't feel like I'm worthy of being in this room.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Why don't I feel like I'm worthy of being in this room? I've come here. I've been invited. Therefore, why do I have a problem with that? And maybe that'll give you a boost of confidence, because you'll be like, oh no, I am worthy actually. And then when you speak to people, you can speak with a confidence, and because maybe it's people pleasing, it's just doing whatever you think is going to make other people like you. But realistically, maybe you don't need to get the people to like you. Maybe they already respect you enough, and you can stop getting in your own way of damaging those relationships if you were to just be the authentic version of yourself.
I like that, man. I suppose it's getting you to a place where you understand you're not at war with yourself anymore. You've integrated the grief and you understand that there's life on the other side. That's maybe what I'm hearing. I might be wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But almost the authenticity of you don't have to act out of old patterns because you've acknowledged they don't fit your new reality.
Yeah, I mean, if there were two different people, you wouldn't expect one just because it came in contact with the other, or like, for example, parents and kids, just because a parent acts a certain way, you wouldn't necessarily assume that once that kid grows up and becomes an adult that they would become exactly the same person as their parent.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're the graduated person, you're the kid that's grown up and become something else. You don't need to look back to that other figure you had in your life, this negative survival mode personality, or reason for you people pleasing, reason for you getting angry in situations. You don't need to look back to that.
It's more compassion, isn't it, really? Both for yourself and for others. It's not going to be this harsh, self-deprecating judgment for others. It's just going to be this a little bit more relaxed, compassionate human being that's just a bit more in tune with who they are and maybe able to help others that maybe aren't. Damn. So if we're grieving that old self, and that feels like we're losing our edge almost because it's what's kept us safe, is it possible, do you think, that we're not actually losing anything, but the growth itself is actually just a process of becoming too honest to wear those masks anymore? Because if these survival instincts are skins and archetypes and masks that we've put on to keep us safe, do we think it's not a case where we're actually losing anything? It's that we're stripping these things away and becoming more honest to understand we don't need those masks.
Yeah, I think any time that you have the perspective that you are, oh, this is what I do when I'm sad, like it almost makes it funny to me, because it's like, oh, I'm just doing that thing that I do when I'm sad. That's interesting. That's just, I've fallen into this pattern again. And just acknowledging it is like saying, oh, okay, I've just assumed this role. It's like, this isn't me, it's a role. This is what I do when I go into survival mode. That's just a role. And then, I mean, you can look at that on the positive side as well. Okay, what would the positive version of me be doing right now? Oh, probably working on a dream or exciting himself by thinking about all the different goals that he's got, Oh, maybe I could just put that hat on instead and enact that character.
I like that. That's a really cool phrasing. I actually saw that someone, like a different type of framing, but I love it. It's very similar. So it was used in the mindset of like fitness. It was like, imagine you embody the body of someone you legitimately love and care for a year. How would you treat that body? And you would exercise, you would eat well, you'd legitimately take care of it.
Yeah.
And it's similar what you're suggesting there. So what would the positive version of me be doing in this environment? So it invites you to think outside the box of what you are doing, and maybe the old mindsets that kept you safe or in the survival mindset to, what would this new version of me be doing? What would someone that maybe loves themselves a little bit more be doing at this point? What sort of words would they be saying to themselves? I like that, man. That's a really cool phrasing. Yeah.
It's my brain.
Your brain is pretty damn cool.
It's not me, it's my brain.
What can I say? Yeah. Maybe we are becoming too honest to wear those survival masks anymore. I think it's definitely a case of you are looking without judgment towards those survival instincts. So maybe it is a case you are taking off masks and you are removing any sort of facade. Have you, or do you know any of those survival masks or instincts you implement in your life that you would care to share? I can talk through a few of mine if that makes you feel more comfortable, because I know I've had a few throughout my life. But the biggest one that's played the biggest part when it comes to relationships is shutting down. So disassociation. That's definitely been a survival instinct that I've implemented. And in the short term, keeps me safe. And in the long term, it ruins everything. It's wonderful.
So I guess you now see that as a warning sign if that happens.
Yeah.
In a relationship, like, oh, okay, something's wrong here. Now we need to talk about this.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And it sounds so easy when you put it like that.
All this stuff sounds so easy. We're talking about this as if, like,
Yeah. Well,
now you can implement it. It's like, well.
When I was in my last relationship and something was uncomfortable and it happened, it was a problem. And rightly so, because I was shutting down with the person that I loved and cared for, So, yeah, it's difficult. It's definitely something in the moment. I'm like, oh, no, like, this is keeping me safe. Like, I'm fine. I don't even realize I'm doing it. And then you're like, oh, shit, it happened again.
Yeah. We'll trade them, shall we? So that was your one, disassociation. I guess my main one is whenever I'm feeling particularly down about something, 9 times out of 10 these days it's YouTube not going the way I want it to be going. I will sit on the sofa, I'll drink a beer, I'll eat Ben and Jerry's, and I'll just fully assume that character, exactly what you think about, like the mum that just sends her kids off to school and then sits at home and is like recently divorced and just like that typical image, like snuggles up on the sofa with a blanket and just doesn't want to do anything except watch like brain numbing TV, just veg out. Like that's the role that I assume when I'm not feeling good.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that relate to that, to be honest with you.